What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. I just woke up, so forgive me if I'm a little sluggish, but there is a lot to talk about. Pour myself some coffee. Guys, you need a system that you live by that acts as an energy duplicator and storage system. So the way that the matrix is designed, it robs you of your vitality. And it also, folks, more importantly, robs you of your mental clarity and your mental integrity. You see, a lot of us interact with this artificial world without questioning it and, trying to realize what's really going on here, folks. See what I'm saying? So, the way that the reality has been designed by the system engineers, it's a playground, you guys. It's a carnival ride. It's a joke. It's a total fucking joke. And like I said, you need a system of living where by default, living like that reacquires lost power and stores it. You also need a way of living that will do that for you, that's easy, that's sustainable, that is economical, that isn't going to lead to yo-yoing back and forth. See what I'm saying? All these diet programs and all this nonsense that doesn't work. People are going up and down, left and right, trying things for a week and then going down further than they were before they tried the new program. Does that make sense? You have to have a system that nourishes your body and your mind. Otherwise, every day equates to accelerated entropy and breakdown of the system, right? So I deal with a lot of people here on this channel, across by multiple social media platforms, and I've also dealt with and continue to and work with people in the physical plane, not just on social media. And I've seen firsthand, not only in myself, but in many others, especially the people close to me that I work with physically, I've seen what this standard American way of living and thinking can do to the body and the mind. It breaks it down, folks. And when the body and the mind break down, you're in for some problems, are you not? You're in for some serious problems. Bear with me. I got a lot going on today, and I'm making sure my wallet's in here. But you need an easy-to-follow system that acts like a battery charger, right? A battery charger. So many people will go their entire life never being plugged into that battery charger, and they will lose energy at an accelerated rate, and it will cause the body-mind complex, the body temple and the mental chapel to degrade. The body is a primal flesh machine, and the mind is a divine operating system that controls this vehicle. See what I'm saying? So, guys, you want to find a healthy routine. You want to find healthy friction. So, I just woke up, had a little bit of water before I'm going to have this coffee. I had the water, excuse me for the sniveling. I had water before I turned the camera on to start recording, or the audio recorder. Right? And I had some, where is it? I had some electrolyte drops, which is concentrated sodium, magnesium, potassium, and trace minerals from the Great Salt Lake. So, when I drink the minerals like this on an empty stomach after a whole night of sleeping and my mouth being dried out from having no water, you can really feel these minerals get uptaken by the body. So this is usually how I start my day, right? Usually I start with water, a little bit of water, then I move to the coffee. And people can say what they want about coffee, I really don't care. I'm actually considering moving back to yerba mate soon. I am a fan of caffeine. I have things to get done here. Caffeine is an effective tool, and like any other tool, it can be used either for good things or for horrible things. You don't want to sit around and drink 5 pots of coffee every day, or do what I used to do, which was drink a pot and a half. I remember I used to go to Starbucks when I was younger, after one of my first Kundalini awakenings, and I would order 4 to 8 shots of espresso every day. burning the adrenals out, just promoting excessive cortisol. And I remember not drinking enough water back then either. And at that point in time, I was cycling 14 hours a week or more. So I dehydrated myself seriously. So as we grow here in this matrix, if we yearn for wisdom, as time passes, we can achieve that wisdom. But wisdom is the accumulation of knowledge through experience over a period of time. I didn't know back then what I know now. Now I'm much wiser. See what I'm saying? So we don't want to hold on to unhealthy, outdated modes of living that don't do anything for us. We want to live in a way that nourishes the body and the mind. We need certain forms of food. We need certain forms of fluid. We need certain periods of legitimate and adequate rest. And we certainly need a system that allows us to go into our mind and get to know our fucking selves. Kind of like the Matrix. Remember the Oracle? Know thyself. How many people know themselves? And what do you mean, Brandon? I know myself. I'm Jenny, the technician. I'm Jenny, the hair salon specialist. Or I'm Jenny, I'm Thomas, the fucking underwater welder. Guys, you are not your name. Your name is like a tag that you've been given to wear around your neck like a dog here in the Matrix. You are not the sum total of who you are is not your name. How many zeros, ones, and dots, and etc. you have in your bank account. You see what I'm saying? That's not knowing yourself. People seem to have a mixed view of what knowing themselves actually is. We need a system that adequately or sufficiently allows us to penetrate beyond the sustained trajectory of our programmed minds. Does that make sense? Again, trying to wake up. So I'm just going to upload this regardless of the lack of verbal flow. It is what it is, guys. So long story short, if you really want to get radically healthy beyond the system's standards, and radical health is prolonged life beyond your wildest dreams, vitality, vigor, mental awareness on a level that you've never experienced, then you better start approaching your day-to-day life in a different fashion. Because there's no more time for games, you guys. They're collapsing everything, folks. Look at what's gone on with inflation. Look at the crime going through the roof. There has never been a better time to look at reality as a training simulation, like a form of boot camp. So, on top of that, guys, just if you have to, even, and I'm a huge fan, or I was, I don't really play role-playing games anymore, but I've always been obsessed with the act of developing or upgrading a character, right? Not just in video games, but video games that you could do that in were always my favorite. Growing up, World of Warcraft, the original one. Although I look back at time now, it's like, Jesus. That game was, when I was younger, it appealed to many things, but now it's like, ugh, yeah, okay. Again, that's from growing up. But long story short, the Elder Scroll, the one that affected me the most, I think, growing up, video game, was the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I had a friend, Hans. We used to play this game all the time and read the lore and get the game guides. But aside from that, and I think back at this, at me and my friend Hans, we weren't just playing the video game, we were living it. Right? We would make these toy swords out of wood, or we would go on these scavenger hunts that we'd have his parents set up. We had a ton of fun. Right? We had a ton of fun. We were being the adventurers that our hearts wanted. The heart is inclined for adventure, you guys. It wants to grow. It wants a certain sense of imagination and magic. See what I'm saying? But I've always been to some extent, very fascinated in the act of upgrading the character. Right? And I think what really got me interested in this was back in the day, playing these role-playing games, right? EverQuest, etc. When I was a young, imaginative boy, I always used to think, but can't we do this in reality? Isn't this reality that we're living in much more advanced than these programmed games, right? I always found it fascinating that in these games you could adventure off to a foreign land or even one close to where you are, before you start your journey, and gather certain ingredients and make potions. The longer you'd run in the game, your endurance and your stamina would develop, and you were working on your character constantly to improve it, to upgrade it, to get better armor, to gather more abilities. Guys, that's what we're doing here. That's what we're supposed to be doing here. You see, we've been sold a bill of goods, and we've learned to think that as we age, we're supposed to get slower and dumber and more decrepit. And we've fallen for this because we lack a serious amount of magic in our lives due to a lack of Kundalini activity in our lives. And most people will go their entire lives being disconnected from this sacred energy source. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. Kundalini is a battery charger. It's not just a battery charger. It's a divine electrical circuit system that connects us through our body and our mind to Christ, which is the risen Kundalini. And then through Christ, we know God. See what I'm saying? Christ is a state of awareness. We're supposed to be plugged into this. It's supposed to move through us, charge particular energy vortices in our bodies and keep them full of a certain amount of energy so that our protoplasmic body connected to these energy centers can remain revivified constantly. It's like a fountain moving. We're supposed to be refilling ourselves with energy. I believe this is what Tahuti had accomplished in the Emerald Tablets when he said that, if you guys read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, also known as Thoth or Tahuti, he had reached a state of physical somatic immortality where his body and his mind did not fall to the entropic waves of decay. And it was through the holy fire, and he hints at this in a handful of ways in the book. It was through the holy fire that he had achieved this state of cellular, physical, mental, spiritual immortality. So we need to upgrade the character constantly. And if we do this, if we tweak our ways, if we find ways to make our life, how would I say this? I don't want to say enriching, but let me just backtrack here, you guys. Most of us have gaps in our life that are energy leakages. We want to find those gaps. We want to find the holes in the boat and patch them. And in order to do this, we need a certain state or sense of quietude. And this is something that many of us don't have. We don't have genuine silence. When the mind and the body is cleansed, silent, and empty, you can see the way forward. Through your intuition, through your higher senses, through your metaphysical antennas being erect. But culture makes it very difficult because there's a humdrum here, a static. It makes me think, how many of you guys have seen that HBO show, the series? It's been over for years now, I think over 20 years, maybe even 25. 6 Feet Under. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but Nathaniel Fisher, at one point in time, I think it was in the last season, I think there were 6 seasons of 6 Feet Under. I'll always love that show. Something that I grew up watching it's like I would watch it with my uncle once a week, and it just has a certain sense of something that I like. It's like one show out there that I like. That's not true. There's a few. But I don't watch TV now, but every once in a while I'll pull the discs out and watch a few episodes. Very rarely. The Sopranos, stuff like that. I don't care if people want to, oh, what are you talking about, Sacred Serpent? You're talking about TV being so bad, but you watch these shows. If you only knew what I do with my free time and how little I engage with these stupid televisions and all this garbage. Where was I going with that? There's a part in 6 Feet Under, I think it's the last season, where Nathaniel Fisher tells his sister Claire, stop listening to the static. There's a static out there. And if you listen to it too much, it'll destroy you. And there is, ladies and gentlemen, there is a static in our mind and in our bodies and outside of ourselves. That static is the sum total of our life experiences that have led us to have a certain mindset that tells us certain things about ourselves that aren't true, etc. Try to put the pieces together and read between the lines and see what I'm trying to hint at here, folks. On top of that, these televisions, these telephone wires, these cable systems, these invisible carrier waves, 60 gigahertz, 5G, 4G, cell phone towers beaming information everywhere. There is a humdrum, a static momentum out there, folks, that if you're sensitive enough to energy, you can pick up on. Your cells are picking up on it constantly. Your cells are constantly being stimulated and agitated by these invisible wavelengths, of energy. You're having your cells agitated and all your organelles, the organelles are the organs inside your cells. So it's hard to reach a certain state of peace whereby true clarity can come about because, for one, there's a good chance that your body temple, your mental chapel, have been completely wrecked from years of standard American eating and engaging in this fucking demonic pig pen, Satan's fucking playground, where it warps your mind and your spiritual development. There's a good chance you have some issues going on with your hardware and your software. And on top of that, outside of your body and your mind, we have these invisible forces and visible forces. I'm not going to get into those today, but we're going to talk about the invisible forces. All of the wireless agitating a response in you genetically. See what I'm saying? Folks, let me do something right now. Let's open the phone. Let's go to settings on this iPhone. We're going to turn the wireless off, the Wi-Fi, and let's hook up the cellular network. Or what am I thinking? Excuse me. We need to go to Wi-Fi. Turn the cellular network off. Let's open up Wi-Fi and see how many fucking networks show up. I'm waiting for it to refresh. There's 3 right now. Okay. So if I go to other, if I wait, there's another fucking wireless network. If I walk around the house, there's another wireless network. So there's 5, 6 wireless networks that if I had the password to connect to these right now, oh, there's another one, ATT77. They just keep popping up predicated upon where I am in the house. If I had the wireless password to these networks, the signal is strong enough for my phone to hook up to these wireless systems, these Wi-Fi systems. Do you not see what I'm saying? If my neighbors, and where do you think these networks are coming from? They're all my neighbors' networks. If my neighbors' networks are strong enough and produce an invisible stream of information that can pass through the walls and communicate with my phone, do you really think those networks aren't penetrating into your skin, into your body? Do you really think your cells aren't being agitated by this? There's another fucking network. There's times, guys, where I'll do this as an experiment, and maybe I should do a screen capture and show you guys, where when I'm in between my runs, on some of my barefoot runs, I'll run for 30 minutes to an hour and then stop and walk for 20 minutes. And when I'm walking, if I'm in a neighborhood, I'll open up the wireless just to see how many networks there are. You guys, I shit you not, there are times when there's over 15, 20 networks. We are walking through all this. We're driving through it all. We're sleeping in this. Again, do you not understand what it is I'm trying to say here? If these networks, these invisible waves, are strong enough to pass through multiple cabinets, glass, all the drywall, the insulation in the drywall with the framing, etc., this glass door, the thick wood door, the screen door, it's like... You really think that stuff's not strong enough to go through your body? And of course it is, guys. Of course it is. And I've seen a direct... it is my personal opinion based on my own research and observations that as technology evolves, human sanity devolves. And crime goes up. You name it. Look at all the crime right now, you guys. What are we on? iPhone 14 or 15 now? How many fucking Samsung Galaxies are there? The TVs now are smart TVs. It's horrific. Go to fucking Costco and look at some of these TVs where it's like you can have thousands of options on your home screen now. You can put widgets on it. You can make phone calls through the television. It's like, Jesus Christ. We have smart refrigerators now. When I was in high school and I graduated in 2007, I think it was either in 2005 or 2006, a friend of mine, Will, his parents were very wealthy, and he drove me to his mom's house in a particular part of California. And I had never seen anything like this before. The house, for one, looked like it was made out of cement. It looked like something from Star Trek. And when he walked up to the door, when he got to a certain point, an intercom came on and a fucking robot voice greeted him. And he punched, I think he either said the password or there was like a keyboard, a little fucking thing of buttons on the side of the house under this flap that opened. And he put in a code and the door went, and it was like a hydraulic pump pushed the door open, and the door was fucking like a damn near half-foot thick. And you'd go in, and at the time, they had the most technologically advanced stuff for the home, right? And I thought back then that, holy shit, this is kind of creepy. Where is this going to lead? And now look, you guys, look at the amount of Trojan horses, these weapon systems that we've allowed into our homes. My God, a door that opens that senses the fact that, oh, there's Will through a camera, and they had a camera and everything. It was like facial recognition, the first wave of it, at least that I had seen. I thought that was scary enough. But now, guys, our devices that we carry in our pocket, our smartphones, gather information about us, and don't try to tell me these things aren't listening to you. Don't try to tell me that these things aren't listening to you. You know, someone said that, oh, Siri doesn't listen to you. And Siri is an AI for an Apple phone. For one, rearrange the words. Siri backwards is iris. Iris is a part of an iris. You know, you look at things, it's looking at us, folks. And it's gathering information about us. But I've heard it before. Oh, Siri doesn't listen to you unless you say, Siri, wake up. In order for it to hear you say, Siri, wake up, it's got to be listening. Do you not understand that? Have we gotten that stupid? So, long story short, you guys, real health is an act of becoming conscious to what's really going on within yourself and outside of yourself. And it works. You have to start with yourself. Again, know thyself. We have the 4 inner exercises here that will allow you or help you do that. It is in no way, shape, or form the complete piece. It's not the complete answer, right? But through these exercises in tandem with proper nourishment, we can really evolve ourselves to a certain state that we weren't in prior. And that is a state of more power. And power is needed to be able to become conscious to all this insanity, and in tandem with that, shield yourself from the entropy of all this. This is a illusionary realm, you guys. Your Bible warned you of it. Every religious and document of antiquity worth its weight in salt warned you to be in this world, or instructed you to be in this world but not of it, because the material realm, unfortunately, has been grasped by evil. And it has become a soul harvester. Misery loves company. They want to take as many people down with them as they can. The people that run the world, not all of them, but many, are evil, folks. We have an enemy here. Can you not see it? Are you not paying attention? Open your fucking eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Open your eyes. Look at what they accomplished in the past 3 years, if you catch my drift. Take a good look. Take a good, honest, goddamn look. Be honest with yourself. So, guys, sometimes all you need is a good day to rewire the trajectory of your path. It can be very difficult if you have enough momentum behind bad habits in a way that you've been living that's not optimal, to crack that and cause the water going one way to go a different direction. So we often reach a certain state of stasis where we don't know how to move forward, or we get so habituated by another way of living that we can't create new flow. And for that, if you're in that position, I would highly suggest using candle magic. I'm not going to explain how to do it. And if you guys, candle magic is one of the easiest ways to create new energetic flow and templates, cognitively, etc. It is one of the greatest ways to change behavior immediately. Because the candle is a physical representation of our will. And when you light it and you put enough time and effort into this, anytime you see that flame burning, it sends an image into your subconscious mind of your true desires, and it creates an anchoring point that then creates an energetic feedback loop that creates friction, and through friction we can move forward. You got to change energetic templates, cognitive templates. See what I'm saying? And magic is the art and science of mind control, of your own mind. See what I'm saying? We can create new energetic momentum with candle magic. And it's not even that you need that, but many people do. I use candle magic relatively often for a handful of reasons. You're stuck, ritualized becoming unstuck. See what I'm saying? You've got to learn to get active, evolve your character. Every second lost is a second you cannot get back. Hate to say it, guys. Hate to say it. So again, create little steps forward. So I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get some vodka out of the freezer. If I have any left, where did I put that? Where the hell's the vodka? I'm going to do it there's a big thing of vodka in this freezer that I use to clean my skin. And I'm going to make another batch of the Dr. Kassar skin cleaning solution. And I'm going to make a video out of it and show you how to make a cheaper version of Dr. Kassar's skin cleaning solution that utilizes vodka, sodium bicarbonate, fossil shell flour, also known as diatomaceous earth, salt, and a few other constituents. I've made a cheaper model of it for those that don't want to spend all the money on the living silica and all the other stuff that he has in there. I suggest making that formula if you can afford it. But why am I bringing that up? Because it's one thing, guys, that you can do out of a multitude of things to begin upgrading yourself. I'm going to clean my skin with the solution, and it's a beautiful day here. I'm going to absorb about 20 minutes of light after I've cleaned my skin. How many of you have genuinely cleaned your skin and then absorbed light? There is a huge difference between doing that and just going out and putting the copper tone on, not cleaning your skin, and just baking out there, folks. Again, We have got to put little things into action so that we can gather the results through time. See what I'm saying? I've got to get going. I'm getting a phone call. May peace be with you.